Class is back in session. Reed's got a new crew and I've got a new recipe for you. This is Recipe and Review, where I pick a video game and make a nice little recipe based on either the vibe or something directly pulled from the game. So today we're making some classic potato salad, just like this little recipe in the screenshot called Crunchy Potato Salad from the video game, while reviewing Trails of Cold Steel 3, the third iteration in this lovely little genre expansion. It is going to be something as familiar and reliable as seeing potato salad at a picnic. It's reliable and familiar, but is it powerful enough to stand out on the picnic table? Let's find out together. So, let's start with some ingredients, shall we? We've got our ingredients before us. We've got potatoes. Surprised to see potato salad and potatoes, just as surprised as I am to see them there, but they're there. Kind of a staple. We've got apple cider vinegar going into this as well. We've got some mixed red pepper and black pepper. We've got a lovely cup of mayo. We've got some yellow mustard with dog hair in it, in case you were wondering. I plucked it out just for this video. Don't add dog hair unless you want to. It's extra protein. We've got yellow mustard. The face makes it worth it. We've got yellow mustard. A decent amount. Add as much as you want to. It doesn't matter. The brands don't matter either. Just pick your favorites. We have hard-boiled eggs, about 4 of them. We've got salt. We've got a little bit of sweet relish, and I say a little bit, I mean a lot of it, because it takes a lot to make it flavorful. We've got a little bit of paprika, and I actually mean a little bit this time. We've got some dill weed and a little bit of secret sauce I like to call smokehouse maple. It's going to add just a hair of a little bit of a meaty flavor to it, and I just yum yum yum. We've also got an onion. We're going to cut this in half and use half of it, not the whole thing, because we don't want to overpower the whole recipe. And we've got 2, they call them ribs of celery, I just call them sticks. 2 big sticks of celery. Okay, so how do we start? By breaking things with a pot. We're going to fill this pot with water, and we're going to add a little bit of salt to the water just to make sure that 1, it boils evenly, and 2, we get a little bit of that lovely salty flavor into the potatoes as we add the potatoes to the water and let them boil over. Don't let them boil over. We're going to let them boil even, just like the way Cold Steel 3 feels within the franchise. So it doesn't really break ground and it doesn't feel like anything earth-shattering, but it doesn't really have to. This feels like a transition chapter to a larger picture in the game. While those potatoes are boiling, I'm going to go ahead and start chopping these other ingredients and talk to you about how Trails of Cold Steel 3 started to cook. If you're already invested in Reed's story, you'll find comfort here. Just don't expect surprises on the flavor palette. To be honest, this story feels a little bit disjointed to start. You're in new places with new people and the shakeup takes some adjustment. Eventually things do settle into familiar rhythm the series is known for, but it takes a little bit to get there. The political drama? Still a bit of a head scratcher, but if you haven't played the Crossbell games, it's to be expected. Just to note, I fully intend to do so before diving into the 4th one, because after this one, I feel like I really need to get some backstory in. That said, there are some standout moments, especially in seeing how far Reed has come. There's some real emotional weight to his journey, even if some of the plot twists were about as surprising as seeing potato salad at a potluck. Once the potatoes are done boiling, I'm going to go ahead and get those chopped up while they're still hot to keep them smooth and keep them soft. I leave the skin on for a little bit of extra texture in the final recipe. Once we get everything chopped, we're going to add it to the dressing. Mayo is the base, use your favorite kind, then we add our relish, yellow mustard, a bit of apple cider vinegar, and then all of the rest. We'll also add additional mayo and mustard as we see fit. It just depends on how creamy and how smooth we want it to be. On the topic of mixing things, we have a new mix of characters this time around. Reed is no longer just the protagonist. He's taken on the role of being a mentor figure and teaching and shepherding along a new Class 7. How does this new Class 7 pan out? To start, a bit bland and under-seasoned. They did grow on me though. Over time, as each member of the new Class 7 started to develop, I found myself enjoying the new dynamic and the whole situation a lot more. It ended up being like a natural and satisfying evolution to the story. So what happened to the old Class 7? don't worry, they're still around in their own ways. And some of my favorite moments were when each of these members would pop in and out of the story to add their own little snippets. That being said, there were some real duds and disappointments this time around. When compared to the prior games, some of the new Class 7 characters just didn't match up. They felt bland in comparison, like afterthoughts in the script. They just needed a little bit better of a role within the mix. And just like having a mix of even spices in our potato salad, combat adds an even mix to all of our JRPGs. So how does the combat stand up in Trails of Cold Steel 3? Let's talk about that. The combat this time around is exactly what you'd expect from the franchise. Turn-based, comfort food. It's familiar, nostalgic, but maybe a little bit too safe. The Brave Orders and Break system add some spice, but they're more garnishes than game changers, and for the most part they felt exactly like the last two games. It was well balanced though. I never felt overwhelmed, and the difficulty options let you tailor the challenge to your own needs. It's kind of like choosing how much mustard you want. It's personalized, but not reinventing anything. Potato salad tastes better with time, so we're going to go ahead and let that sit in the fridge overnight before serving it. That's to say the pacing is important. The pacing here has that familiar Cold Steel ebb and flow, the talky school scenes, dungeon calls, and dramatic cliffhangers. The structure doesn't really surprise me, but the added phone call mechanic with the old Class 7 does add some nice flavor to it. Now that I brought up pacing, this is the part where you gotta listen to me bring up the same complaint that I've had in the last two games, where the pacing is just awkward. The first 3/4 of the game were exactly what were expected. The rhyme, the rhythm, everything about it was familiar and honestly comforting. That being said, the last quarter I should have expected it coming, but for some reason I thought maybe it would be different. Pacing with the finale just kept stretching on and on and on and on and on. Now speaking of the last quarter of the game, without spoiling anything, for the first time since playing these games I actually found myself hating the ending of it. It was almost an hour straight of exposition before something finally happened, and when it did, it was just so disappointing. That being said, it didn't detract from the overall experience, so I can't knock it too hard. Plus, knowing the whole thing is just a setup for part 4 makes it feel a little bit better, but gotta say I'm a little disappointed. So let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit and get to the end of this so I can give you a final review. So here's the thing. Trails of Cold Steel 3 isn't flashy. It's not spicy, it doesn't have a wild twist of sriracha or jalapeno chules, but it's familiar, filling, and it gets the job done if you already know what you've signed up for. Can you play it without touching one or two? Technically, but would I recommend it? Absolutely not. In fact, I would probably shy away from the series now, knowing that there's an entire series before it. A mistake I intend to rectify before jumping into the 4th game. For long-time comfort fans though, it's another bite of comfort food that you'll love. For newcomers, it might feel like you're being handed a plate at someone else's family reunion. You'll enjoy it, but you won't get it the same way. At the end of the day, I gotta give this game a 7 out of 10. Now, what about our potato salad? It looks like potato salad. It smells like potato salad. Tastes like potato salad. Okay, that's my sign to wrap it up. I'm giving this game a 7 out of 10 and I'm calling it good. Good night.